Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewire to Inspire. The show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewire to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I don't know what this intro is, but nonetheless, so stinking excited because today we are on episode 150. 150. That's crazy. That is super crazy. I was looking back at old videos from when this podcast was called Tiny Talks. So if you didn't know, the show started with the name Tiny Talks. It was prefaced around having short conversations, but more so than that, I had a little teeny tiny microphone. And I started this podcast on a whim, you guys. When I tell you that, I just felt pulled to share little messages, share from my heart, share from my experiences, and just see where it goes. And then here we are. I started the podcast in 2021, which is absolutely absurd. So here we are, 150 episodes. We have been consistent in having 2 episodes for the last year. So I got one of those throwback pictures on Facebook the other day, and it basically said going up to 2 episodes a week, like scary or something. And it's been a year of doing that. And so I just want to say the biggest thank you to each and every one of you who take the time to tune in every single Tuesday and Thursday, for sending me love, for sending me kindness, for support, for sharing. It means the absolute world to me. I started this podcast with the mission of helping even one person. And that is still my belief. That is still what inspires me every single day to continue to show up and to continue to produce content. I'm here on a Friday night, over the moon excited to be talking with you all, because I truly believe that these things don't hold a valuable, measurable way. There's no measurable, I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's no way to measure the significance that this has on my heart. For me, this is so much bigger than any results. To me, this is about helping even one person have permission to heal, teaching you one thing that might change your life, saying one thing that might change the trajectory that you are on, to inspire you to take a leap of faith in yourself, to try something new, to view yourself accurately, to heal your inner child, to do the hard work so that you can grow and lean into and cultivate a magnificent life. If the version of Jessie who started this podcast could see that I am still here, she would be so proud. I don't think she would believe it, but here's the thing. It didn't happen overnight. It took massive trial and error. It took being inconsistent in the beginning, but it took me having just a little bit of belief in myself that it's something that I wanted to do. And I wanted to self-identify that to myself. I knew that if I wanted to call myself a podcaster, I would have to show up as one. I would have to be consistent. And so this very nicely ties into today's episode, which is proof that you can do more than you think. Every single one of us is leaving potential on the table in at least one area. We all are. In at least one area, there is potential being left behind. You need to categorize for yourself which area is most important to you. And are you aware of that, and are you focusing on that? Here's the thing, surfacing back to me, just sharing with you that I've been consistent. That's really where this episode kind of prefaced for me and kind of came to fruition. So when I had that pop up, the biggest thought that was coming into my mind is that felt impossible to jump to 2 episodes when I had first started this episode in September of 2021. If you would have told me, Jessie, you're going to be doing 2 episodes a week, you are not going to miss for over a year. You're going to be helping people all over the world. You're going to get clients through this that you're going to work with, and they're going to be phenomenal. You're going to get random messages from people sharing how much your show has impacted them. I think I probably would have ran away because I hadn't formed that belief for myself yet. I wasn't there yet. And I look at old videos of myself, and my partner had actually told me, he was listening to one of the beginning episodes. He's like, your voice actually kind of changed. And I'm like, what's interesting is my voice didn't change. I think my confidence changed. I was very timid. When we don't own something, there's a part of us that feels small, right? We protect. We try to keep ourselves little. So that's what I did. And the thing is I didn't have anybody really cheering me on in the beginning other than myself. I was doing it for me. And that's kind of what I want you to hold on to today through this episode. If proof that you can do more is that it has to start with you. If you're doing something for external validation, you're doing something to make other people happy, you're doing something for any reason outside of yourself. And yes, your impact and your mission can be outside of you, but you have to do it because you want to do it, or you won't be consistent. You won't keep showing up. It has to come from your heart. There is nobody here pushing me to say, hey, Jessie, you need to record tonight. You don't have a choice. No, that's self-accountability, and that's discipline, because I know that I will not let myself down. I have that respect for me and for you. I promised you guys I would not miss. And I tend to own that promise as long as humanly possible. And so when I reflected, I was like, it felt absolutely impossible at that time to say that I would commit to 2 episodes a week. And here's the reason. This is why. This is why this happens. It's because we don't decide in advance that we're going to do something. You can do more than you think, but not if you decide in advance that you can, that you will, that it could be possible. You won't take action. If you don't decide something in advance, it's leaving it up to chance. Now that's a rhyme. That's a poem, you know? I want you to think of a goal that you have set for yourself at some point in your life, probably around January 1st. It's when we all set goals, right? And I want you to think of a goal that you didn't achieve or that you quit after a couple days, couple weeks. And I don't want you to shame yourself. I just want you to bring it up. We all have at least one goal that we've set that we didn't hit. The reason that you did not hit that goal is because there wasn't enough necessity to hold you accountable. I'm starting to realize how significant the word necessity is. What does that mean? Necessity. Think of it like if you've ever played on a sports team and you're running laps, you don't want to be the last one. If you have made a promise to a friend that you're going to do something, you're more likely to follow through with it because somebody else is holding you accountable or because you vocalized it. That's necessity. If you haven't given yourself enough necessity beneath a goal or an objective, you likely won't be consistent, because why would you? There's too many other reasons to quit, to give up. The thing is that I've talked about on here hundreds of times, but I don't think we fully grasp, is that we are wired as human beings to seek short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment. We are short-term thinkers. We think about the now. We want that feel-good feeling and we want it now. Those that you see that are in the best shape are the most successful, quote unquote. And again, obviously there's things going on behind the scenes. There's merit, there's things. So hold this contextually. The difference is that they thought about their future self over their present self. People that are in the best shape, they aren't living for the now, the pleasure now. They are seeking future fulfillment. The reason you're not maximizing your potential, that you're not doing as much as you think you can, is because you haven't given yourself enough necessity to do so. Without deciding in advance a different outcome or goal, you will almost always choose the easier path. Because why wouldn't you? I think this is why also so many of us don't set goals. Because if we don't say it, then we don't have to do it. If nobody knows, if we don't vocalize it, if we don't write it down, if we don't get specific, then we don't feel bad when we don't show up. Because here's the thing, is when we say we're going to do something and we don't do it, we end up feeling worse than if we just hadn't said anything in the first place. It's like when you say you're going to go to the gym and you don't, you almost always feel like shit because you're like, damn it, I missed again. But if you didn't say I wanted to go to the gym and you just didn't, you wouldn't feel bad. It's because that internal mind is like, hey, you broke a promise to us again. One thing my coach told me, and I'll never forget, and I reiterate that to you guys all the time, if a friend broke as many promises to you as you've broken to yourself, they probably wouldn't be your friend anymore. Yet that is what we do to ourselves all the time. And so we need to know the contrast of both of these awarenesses and hold the duality that we have to have that balance between saying we want to do something and actually doing it. If we don't do it, we won't be proving to ourselves that we can do more than we think. If I didn't just decide in advance, I want to be a podcaster, I'm going to just start small and build. And here's the thing, you guys, I was not consistent in the beginning. If you look back at my old episodes, there's one and then there's another one in another week and then there's two in 1 week and then I skip for like a month. It's so inconsistent. And that's because I was figuring it out, but I refused to give up. Promised myself I was going to keep going. And I don't like the word easy, but it became easier. Anything that starts to become like a routine or a cycle or a part of your identity, it becomes easier to show up. And the thing is the more reps that you get, it's actually harder to stop. Because I've been consistent for so long and I'm now celebrating 150 episodes, it would hurt and suck a lot more to miss now than if I had just stopped at episode 10. There's so many reps now that it would hurt. It would be painful. When we get to that to that point, that's when the magic can happen. You need to pick an area of your life in which you want to flourish this and focus on that. You can do so much more than you think, but not if you don't believe that you can. Not if you're not willing to be disciplined, to be consistent, to do the hard work, to show up when it's hard, to show up when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to, and show that to yourself. I think so many of us don't think that we're worthy, capable, whatever, of more. And it's not that you're not capable. You're kind of just being lazy. You're taking the easy path. You're taking the pleasure path. I don't want you to get to a point in life where you regret that decision. I don't want you to regret that you didn't do more, say more, explore more, grow more, expand more. Don't wish that you had done something differently. You can do so much more than you freaking realize, but do you believe that for yourself? And if not, why not? Why is it you've self-assigned that to yourself? And do you recognize how much that is holding you back? I used to be the shyest person in a room. From being young, I would hide behind my mom because strangers terrified me. When I got to college, I got a little bit better, but to speak in front of a group of people, hell no. Hell no. I remember my teacher in university, second year university, had to put these like little bingo pins on my desk. And she said, those represent the amount of times that you need to speak in my class today. And if those are still there at the end of class, I'm docking you marks, which now in hindsight, I'm recognizing was kind of cruel and a little mean and probably unethical. But anyways, very, very, very shy, timid person. I've always been outgoing around those that I trust and those that I love and my people, but around strangers, Oh, no, 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 no. The thought of giving a speech or emceeing an event or giving a training, absolutely not. I had to show my brain that it was possible, because the thing is there was a part of me that wanted to do it. There's a part of me that always wanted to be a speaker, always wanted to train people, always wanted to be a coach, always wanted to do all these things. But I had fear driving me for so long, and it was holding me back. What if the only difference between you now and the person that you aspire to be in your brain is just repetition, and it's showing up scared? I want you to have the permission to know that if you're not showing up for the first time to do something scared, you're probably not doing the right thing. It's supposed to scare you. Again, we have such miscued relationships with the words failure, nervousness, scared, and they can really hold us back. I want the goal and the outcome of this, when you guys get off here, to begin to contemplate for yourself, Jessie's right. I can do so much more than I've given myself credit for. Maybe I'm not showing up in the way that I need to achieve the desired outcome that I want. Maybe I have been holding myself back. Maybe fear has been controlling me. Maybe I am ready for more. And then just lean into that and get curious. If you tune into this episode and you are here and you are still listening, there is a part of you that resonates, and it resonates for a reason. It's up to you though, and it's your job to lean into what that thing is. Is fear the front of the room, and are you tired of it being the front of the room? I want you to know that you can do so much more than you think. Again, if I had to go revisit 19, 20, 21-year-old Jessie and tell her that I am a podcaster and I'm speaking in front of large groups of people, and I had given trainings in front of hundreds of people, I probably would have thrown up and told you that you're crazy. Where in your life could you future pace and say, hey, I could get there. I could do that. Maybe it terrifies me. Maybe I couldn't. I don't know. But like, I want to. That could be enough. What is the necessity that you need? Is it telling a friend you're going to do something? Is it writing it down? Is it writing it down and sticking it somewhere you can see every day? Public accountability is one of the best ways. I knew as soon as I published that I was going to be a podcaster, I didn't have a choice. I'm like, okay, well, now I have to show up because I told everybody I was going to. One thing that one of the members of Next Level University, Kevin, the co-host of Next Level University, he told his wife, he said, here's $100 bill. He said, okay, if I don't go to the gym for 7 days in a row, I want you to rip it up. I need you to rip it up if I don't go. He's like, don't worry, like I'm not going to miss. But he needed that necessity beneath him. He needed something to push him to go. Maybe that's something that you do. Put $20. We can't, if you're Canadian, we can't really rip up our money. We can cut it up. Find something that's going to push you. Is it money? Is it public accountability? What is it? Could you take something away? Okay, if I don't show up, then I don't get to watch Netflix for a month. Give yourself enough necessity that you would rather face the thing, even though it's scary, versus turning away and taking the easier path. If you truly want something, you'll find a way to do it. But sometimes it does take a little more grit and necessity in the beginning to push us, to show us, to build that repetition, to get that momentum going. So really, my loves, that's all I have for you. I just want you to know from my heart to yours, because of my experience and someone who I truly feel came from such an empty slate in so many ways. Everything that I have is stuff that I've had to work towards. Nothing in my life was given to me. Every result that I have, everything that I do, I had to work my ass off for. We don't always realize that because all these things happen behind the scenes. But I want you to know that because of that, I know that you are capable of so much more than you can ever imagine. But you're getting in your own way and you're doubting yourself. Find necessity to get outside your comfort zone. Push yourself. Nothing feels better in the world than showing yourself that you can do something that you never believed was possible. If somebody else has done it and you're comparing to that, allow that to just show you that it is possible and that it can happen. And if you're in the impossible, wanting to do the impossible, know that that's even freaking cooler, and I applaud you even more. And if you need someone to cheerlead you on, that will be me. People that lean into wanting to do the impossible and challenge what society thinks is possible, oh my God, I will be there front row, snapping for you, cheering for you on. Snapping's kind of my thing. I don't know why it's not clapping, it's snapping. I think it's just funnier. Imagine you're at like a concert or something, and at the end, no one screams or claps. Everybody just snaps. I think that would be funny. Anyways, visions in my head that make absolutely no sense. But you guys, I believe in you. If no one in your life right now is pushing you, believes in you, I like to do something with my clients called board belief, where I say, I know you might not believe in yourself right now. I know you're not seeing yourself accurately the way that I am right now. And I definitely encourage you to check out Tuesday's episode. That might help you view yourself more accurately. I want to instill some belief in you of knowing that I know what it's like to start at zero. I know what it's like to feel like you could never be anything. You could never make anything of yourself. You're not worthy. You're not capable. You're less than. You're stupid. You're whatever. You're not. But you will be as long as you continue to self-identify that for yourself and believe that for yourself. And I don't mean you will be as in you are that, but you will believe that and you will show up in that way. So it only shifts when you begin to shift. It only shifts when you self-identify that for yourself and when you have that awareness for yourself. So, world belief, it is yours. Full permission to take it if you would like, or leave it, whichever. It's always here. It remains here. So thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode 150. Again, thank you guys so much. It would mean the absolute world to me if you guys could rate this show below. Hit that little plus sign so you never miss any content that comes out. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I can't say it enough. And please reach out anytime if you would love to connect. I would absolutely love that. So I look forward to chatting with you all next week. Bye, you guys.
Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at JessieBrown13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.